You might be wondering why, despite offering a shorter route between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, ships have long avoided these waters. In this video, we'll uncover the real reasons behind this avoidance, explore a bit of history, and learn why nature still holds unrivaled power over human technology. Let's start by setting the scene. The Drake Passage is a 600-mile stretch of water located between the southern tip of South America and Antarctica. For centuries, mariners have been warned away from these treacherous waters. Although it appears to offer a shortcut compared to rounding Cape Horn, the passage has earned a reputation as one of the most dangerous regions in the world. To understand why this route is so feared, we need to go back in time to the 15th century. At that time, the great empires of Europe were locked in fierce competition for global influence. One man in particular made his mark on the history of this region, a pirate by many accounts, but also a formidable privateer with the backing of the British Empire, Francis Drake. Drake's mission was to weaken the Spanish Empire's hold on South America. With royal support, he set out on an ambitious expedition with a fleet of 5 ships and 200 men. The goal was to attack Spanish settlements along the South American coast and establish British dominance over the continent. However, things did not go as planned. Along the way, dissent among his crew forced Drake to deal harshly with those who rebelled, even resorting to hanging some of his men. His journey would soon bring him face to face with nature's fury. After navigating along the coast of South America, Drake attempted to cross into the Pacific Ocean via a narrow passage. As he crossed this gap, a fierce storm erupted. The tempest was so violent that his ships were separated. One vessel, lost in the storm, drifted into the very waters that would later bear Drake's name. When Drake finally caught sight of the lost ship near what is now known as the Drake Passage, he realized that continuing further meant certain death. In that moment, Drake decided that the risks outweighed any possible reward, and he turned back, narrowly avoiding disaster. This dramatic encounter led mariners to regard the passage as a place of ominous legend. The story spread quickly, and soon the Drake Passage became infamous. It wasn't just about one man's misfortune, it was a symbol of nature's unpredictable might. Ships that ventured into these waters faced not only extreme weather, but also the possibility of disappearing without a trace. The name Drake Passage would forever be linked with peril and mystery. The legend of this dangerous route did not stop with Francis Drake. For centuries afterward, seafarers continued to speak of the passage with a mixture of awe and fear. By the 17th century, as European explorers were mapping the world, the Drake Passage was widely known as a gateway to the unknown. In those days, no modern maps or satellite systems existed. Instead, brave souls had to rely on rudimentary charts and sheer instinct to navigate these uncharted waters. One of the most famous explorers to encounter the Drake Passage was Captain James Cook. Although Cook is best known for his voyages in search of new lands, his journey through the Southern Ocean brought him into direct contact with the fury of the Drake Passage. Cook's ship was battered by colossal waves and relentless storms. The sheer power of the collision between warm tropical waters and the icy currents from Antarctica proved too much for his vessel. Captain Cook's harrowing experience reinforced the notion that the risks of venturing into these waters were not worth the potential rewards. He later wrote in his journal that the dangers of this route were so extreme that few would ever dare to attempt it again. But the story doesn't end there. As centuries passed, the scientific and exploration communities began to understand more about the natural forces at play in the Drake Passage. It turns out that this region is unique because it is where 3 major bodies of water, the Atlantic, Pacific, and the Southern Ocean, converge. This convergence creates a massive and complex current system. In fact, the collision of these water masses produces an astonishing water flow that can reach up to 200 million cubic yards per second. To put that into perspective, the Amazon River, the world's mightiest river by volume, has a flow that is over 600 times less than what is observed in the Drake Passage. This incredible flow of water has several consequences. First, it creates giant waves that can soar as high as 60 to 80 feet. Imagine being on a ship and suddenly facing a wall of water taller than a 6-story building. These waves, combined with the unpredictable weather patterns of the region, make navigation extremely hazardous. The convergence of warm and cold waters also gives rise to powerful cyclones and severe storms that can materialize in a matter of minutes. Another critical factor is temperature. The water in the Drake Passage can drop to temperatures below -5 degrees Celsius. The chilling effect of these frigid waters adds another layer of danger, especially if a ship were to encounter trouble and passengers found themselves in the open sea. The combination of towering waves, bone-chilling temperatures, and violent storms makes the Drake Passage one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. Despite these dangers, human ingenuity has not completely left this route untouched. For many years before the construction of the Panama Canal, almost every commercial ship used the Drake Passage to reach the west coast of South America and North America. This shorter route was attractive because it promised a quicker transit time if the weather cooperated. However, the inherent risks meant that only the most robust and well-equipped vessels dared to brave these waters. History provides us with several dramatic examples of what can happen when ships venture into the Drake Passage. One such example is the fate of the USS Indianapolis during World War II. This ship, carrying vital information and materials, was torpedoed by a Japanese submarine while traversing these dangerous waters. The treacherous conditions of the Drake Passage played a significant role in the ship's sinking, leading to one of the most tragic episodes in naval history. More recently, in April 2012, a luxury cruise ship carrying a Brazilian businessman and his crew encountered a terrifying storm in the Drake Passage. The vessel was lifted by waves estimated at 100 feet high and tossed into massive ice formations from nearby Antarctica. Although the ship's radio was still functional, it took 4 long days for a rescue team from Chile to reach the stranded vessel. This incident is a stark reminder that even modern ships, equipped with the latest technology, remain vulnerable to the sheer power of nature in this part of the world. Today, most large commercial vessels choose to avoid the Drake Passage entirely, opting instead for a longer but significantly safer route known as the Strait of Magellan. Although the Strait of Magellan is not without its own challenges, frequent fog, strong winds, and cold weather, it is far less dangerous than the Drake Passage. Modern navigation systems and weather forecasting have made the safer route even more appealing, which is why you'll rarely see a ship risking the deadly conditions of the Drake Passage. Yet the story of the Drake Passage holds an enduring fascination. Despite the dangers, the lure of a shorter route and the spirit of exploration have always pushed humanity to test the limits of what is possible. I hope you now have a clearer understanding of why, despite being a shorter path, the Drake Passage remains a no-go zone for most ships. If you found this explanation interesting and informative, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more captivating stories from history and the natural world. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe on your journeys across both land and sea.